My name is Hiren. So I'm conducting a session on the JavaScript objects. So before going into the JavaScript objects, let us try to understand what is the object is, what really the object is. Okay. So if we want to define a object as a one line sentence, we can say that the object is a real-time entity. Okay, so you will be asking then what is a real-time entity? Okay, what does it mean by real time? Okay, a real time entity means a real the things we can in the real time. Let's say a person can be a object, a book can be a object, a car can be a object, a computer can be a object, and there are so many examples of the real time entities. Okay, so you will be again asking a question: what does this object contains? What does this object have? Okay, so object will be having the two things, the state of the object and the behavior of the object, or we can say that the attributes of the object and the behavior of the object. Okay, so what is the attributes and what is the behavior? Okay, so let's say we are treating as a person as an object. So person will be having the name, surname, email address, phone number, address, and so on. So these are nothing but the attributes of the person. These are nothing but the attributes of the object. And what is the behavior of the object? Behavior means a person can eat, a person can walk, a person can run. So this is the person, the action person is a object is performing. That is nothing but the behavior of the uh, object. Okay, so what does the object have? Let's say we are calling a person as an object. So person will be having the different attributes like hair color, eye color, skin color, height and weight. And values of that attributes can is treated as the state of a object. So what is a state of a object? Values of the attributes. So currently hair color of the person is a black. So state of a person's hair color is black. Might be after 20 years the state might change. So this is nothing but the state of the object. And similarly, a person can eat, sleep, walk, play and study. So these are the actions, behavior a person or object can perform. So this is about the object. Okay, so let's move towards that. So this was about the real-time entity. So what does the object mean in programming language? See, object-oriented programming defined in such a way that we can solve the real-time application with the use of programming language. So we will be mapping the real-time entities with the programming objects. So we have considered, let's say student is a real-time entity. Sorry, student is a real-time entity. So we will considering student as an object. So student will be having the attributes name and GPA. There are so many attributes where we are defining only two now, and we have the behaviors, the methods we can perform on the student. Let's say get the name of the student, set the GPA, and there are so many. We are just giving the example. Similarly, a circle can be a object. So radius and the color of the circle will be the attributes of the circle object, and get radius and get area we can perform the operation, we can perform the action that is defined as the behavior. In the simple term, in the programming term, we are treating behavior as a method. So in the simple thing, attributes means variables and behaviors means methods. Again, attributes means variables, and behavior means method. Similar in the case of, let's say we are designing a snooker game. So we'll be having the snooker player object, right? So snooker player have the name, number, x location and the y location. So these are the attributes. These are the variable we have to define for the snooker player. And the similarly, a snooker player can run, jump and kick the ball. So these are the behavior or the method we have to define for the snooker players. Similar in the case of car can have the plate number, x location, y location, speed, and car can move, park, accelerate. So this will be the attributes of the car and this will be the behavior or the methods of the car. So this was all about the object. Okay, so let us move towards the JavaScript object. So see, the concept of the object will never going to change in any programming language. So in the JavaScript object, the concept of the object remains the same. So in JavaScript, everything treated as an object. So there are three ways to create the object. The first one would be by object literal, second one would be by creating the instance of object directly, and third one would be by object constructor. Oh, so you will be like a stuck. What is literal and what is object and what is constructor? Don't worry. Go. Let's go one by one. So step number one, creating a JavaScript object by object literal. Okay. So this is a syntax. Just write the object name in the curly bracket, property name 1 and value, property name 2 and value, property name 3 and value. Okay, let's see the example. We write a JavaScript code in the HTML under the script tag, so we are writing a script tag. Don't worry, we will go with the programming session too. This is just a theoretical session. Okay, so emp equals to, this is an object name, emp is object name, id equals to attribute, its value, name is also attribute, its value, and salary is also attribute and its value. So we are just printing with the document dot write. So this is the first way we can generate the object in JavaScript. Okay, the second method is by creating an instance of object. So second method in the JavaScript, we have the one class, the object. We just need to define the object with a new keyword in this way. Variable emp is your object name equals to new object. So this will also create the object, and then we have to define the attributes of the object in this way. emp.id equals to 101, emp.name equals to Ravi Malik, emp.salary.5000. So document.write emp.id, we are just printing the values. And the third method is using the object constructor. Here we will be using this keyword. We'll see the example. Okay, so let's try to understand in the script tag how we are defining the object. If you are defined the object in third way, just define to function, let's say function emp. Okay, and we are passing the arguments id, name and salary, and we are doing just this dot id equals to id. Here this dot id refers to the current class object. This refers to current class object. So we are defining this dot id means we are defining a id attribute for this current object. So see, this both ids are different. On the left hand side, which is defined as this dot id, is id of current class object, and on the right hand side, id is a parameter coming from here. Similar again, on left hand side, this dot id, this means current class. We are defining the id attribute of the current object. On right hand side, id is id coming from parameter. Similar with this dot name equals to name, this dot salary equals to salary. And here we are just writing object name equals to new emp. Why emp? Because we have defined the function here emp, and we are just passing the value 103 Vimal Jaiswal and 30,000. So this all three values goes here. id will be 103, name will be Vimal Jaiswal, and salary will be 30,000, and will be assigned to this current class object. So we are just printing the e.id, e.name and e.salary, because this e.id will give 103, e.name will give Vimal Jaiswal, e.salary will give 30,000, because we are assigning the value over here. So this is a third way we can define the object in JavaScript. Okay, so let's move towards the programming session. So let's see the output. This was the theoretical session. The one more thing, defining, as we are defining attributes in a object, we can also define a method in an object. So thus, and simply we are defining an object, we are defining the attributes. Over here we are defining the function. So that will a function change salary equals to other salary, and this dot salary equals to other salary. So what we are doing in the employee object, we are also defining another function. That is a function is change salary. Okay, so what we will be doing here, we'll create an object of the employee class, employee, like we have defined in earlier. We'll print that. Now what we are doing, we are calling the change salary method defined within the object. This is the change salary method defined within the object. So we will be updating the salary. So this is the way we can define variables as well as the methods within the object. So this is all about the JavaScript object theoretically. Now let's see all this thing practically. Okay, let's move towards the practical. Up till now the JavaScript object on the presentation. So let us try to understand practically. Let us try to create the object and see the output on the browser. So what we have defined the object is a collection of the attributes and the behavior. So let us try to define an object in JavaScript. Let's say define a variable object name equals to emp, and we'll define the this is the way number one of creating the object. So we'll define, let's say id will be 101. We'll define name will be, let's say my name Hiren, and let's say the salary will be 30,000. Okay, so this will be the object we have defined, and let's try to uh, print this object with document dot write. Okay, so with the object name dot id, just add some space over there. Again document object dot name, again some space, and object dot salary. So let's save this code and try to run this on a browser. Okay, so let's go over here. Okay, let's try this. So we have the id, name, and hidden. So this is the first way of creating the object in JavaScript. So let us try to create the object in another way with the creating the instance of object class. So let's say variable where emp underscore 2 equals to new object. Okay, so let's try to clear emp2 emp2 dot id equals to 102, emp2 dot name equals to, let's George, and emp2 dot salary, let's say 50,000. George earn more than me. Okay, so let's try to print this again. So let me copy this line again, no need to write again this one here, and we'll be printing this. So what we'll be do will be some adding some extra lines. Okay, just save this code, and we'll be applying emp underscore 2 dot id here, emp underscore 2 dot name, and emp underscore 2 dot salary. Just try and refresh this code. So we'll be having the 101 102 geos and 50,000. So this is the second way of defining the objects in JavaScript. Now we have the defining the third method with the object constructor. So just define function, let's say emp3, and just passed id, name, and salary, right? So what we'll be doing, we'll be using the this keyword. So this dot id equals to id, this dot name equals to name, and this dot salary will be the salary. So take a note over here. So what we are doing, we are using the this dot id, this in here will refer to the current object. So what we are doing, we are ultimately defining the id attribute for this employee 3 object with this keyword. We are referring the current object attributes. So on the left hand side, this dot id belongs to the current object, and right hand side IDs belong from this parameter. So what we are doing, we are assigning this parameter value to the current class attribute name id. Similar way, that this dot name equals to name, and similar way this dot salary equals to salary. So how to access this? For that you have to create the object of the emp3. So what we will do, to create an object new equals to emp3. So one more thing to take on care here, how we are creating the object, we are creating the object with a new keyword, as we have created over here, over here. So what is a new keyword is for? The new keyword is for to creating the object. In on the backend side, new keyword is used to allocate a memory. New is used to allocate a memory. So we are creating the object, does mean we have to allocate some memory. How much memory? It depends on the data we have in the object, right? So new is used to create the object. In the technical way, it's used to allocate a memory. So we have just to let's copy this line, and we'll just get it over there. So what we will do, we'll be now accessing the e dot id e dot. So we have to pass three values. Let's id equal to 103, name equals to, let's say, Amit, and salary Amit will be having the 80,000. Okay, so we'll be saving this emp. So we'll access with the e, because we have defined the object with the e over here. E dot id, similarly e dot name, and similarly e dot salary. So we just save this and run this code. So we'll be having the 103, Amit, and 80,000. So this is the first way, this is the second way, and this is a third way of creating the object. So as we have discussed, objects can have the attributes as well as the behavior. So what is the attribute? These are the attributes of the object we have defined: id, name, and salary. An object can have the behavior also, so we can define the method within the object too. How? Where we are, so what we have, we are doing, we are defining the function within the object. We are defining function within the object. Okay, so we are calling the function again. So just let's try to put some, you can also do the /n, but we are simply just doing the br. Okay, so let's try to run this code. So this 101 hidden, this will be calling with this method emp.info. The second time this line will be calling from this document.write. Then we have the another way of defining the object with George name, and also the final one is with this the object constructor. So this was all about the objects in JavaScript. Thank you very much.